What I am talking about now is the kind of prayer I started off with in my discussion of this dwelling. I should have described the prayer of recollection first, which is far less profound than the prayer of spiritual sweetness I spoke of before, which I have sometimes referred to as the prayer of quiet. But it is the first step to this higher state. In the prayer of recollection, it isn't necessary to abandon discursive meditation or mental activity. Ultimately, the will rests so deeply in God that the pandemonium inside the mind is very bothersome to the soul. But if she pays too much attention to this disturbance, she will lose the sweetness she is enjoying. She must forget about all the turmoil and let herself down into the arms of God. His Majesty will teach the soul what to do next. It's all about recognizing her own limitations in the face of such great goodness and occupying herself with giving thanks. In dealing with the prayer of recollection, I neglected to mention the signs by which we may know that God, our beloved, is blessing the soul with the prayer of quiet. Clearly, an expansion of the soul takes place, as if the water rising up from the fountain doesn't just overflow and move on. Instead, the more water that comes up, the larger the basin grows to receive it. That's what this kind of prayer does to the soul. And God works many other wonders in her, shaping and preparing her to contain abundant grace. This sweet inner expansion frees the soul from constraints in her service to God. She is no longer oppressed by fear of the underworld. Although she desires more than ever not to offend God, she is anything but groveling now. She is fully confident that she will find her delight in Him. While she used to be afraid of austerities, concerned that they would compromise her delicate health, now she knows that in God she can do everything. Her desire for self-sacrifice is much greater than before. She no longer worries about trials. Her faith is revitalized. She understands that any hardships she suffers are for God and that His Majesty will give her the grace to bear them patiently. Sometimes she will even desire tribulation because of this intense longing to do something for God. As her awareness of the greatness of God increases, the soul more clearly perceives her own imperfections. Since she has tasted spiritual sweetness, worldly pleasures look like garbage. She finds herself withdrawing from them little by little and gradually gaining some mastery over herself. All her virtues increase and will continue to grow even stronger as long as she doesn't turn back and offend God. If she does, she will lose everything, no matter how high up the mountain she has climbed. Please don't assume that just because God has granted the soul this favor once or twice, all these wonderful things will automatically unfold. The soul has to be actively open to them and maintain her openness. All our good lies in perseverance. If you find yourself in this state, I strongly offer you this advice. Be exceedingly conscious of the devotion you owe God and avoid any opportunity to jeopardize your commitment to Him. At this point, the soul is a baby, not yet ready to be weaned. If she turns away from her mother's breasts, What can she be expected to do but die? This is what I'm afraid will happen to you on a spiritual level if you have been granted the mercy of this nurturing prayer and then give up on it. If you don't have some excellent reason for withdrawing from prayer, and if you don't come back quickly, you will go from bad to worse. I know that you will share my deep fear of this. I have watched certain people turn away from the one who, with pure love, yearned to be their friend and prove his friendship with divine action. I feel so sorry for people like this. Those of you who have been graced by the state of prayer are even more vulnerable than the majority of souls who have not been granted such a favor by the Beloved. Be careful to avoid occasions for error. The spirit of evil will try much harder to capture one soul so touched by God than 10,000 souls who have not been. Such a soul can do a great deal of damage to the spirit of evil by attracting others through her example away from unconsciousness and into the light of the spiritual life. The spirit of evil may have no other reason to take interest in such a soul than the fact that His Highness has shown her special love. But that's enough for the spirit of evil to burn himself out, trying to lead her to perdition. You, friends, seem to be free of dangers like these. May God keep you safe from pride and vanity. You will know if the spirit of evil is trying to offer you counterfeit versions of God's favors by their effects. They will be the opposite to the effects of divine blessings. This is the place where the natural and the supernatural commingle, and so the spirit of evil can get in and do real harm. In the dwellings to come, the Beloved doesn't allow him such easy access. May God be forever praised. Amen.